Hello, my beautiful souls, and welcome back to the Fully Expressed podcast. I am really excited to be sharing this episode today because I know it has been a while since I released an episode, and I'm going to be sharing in this podcast the reasons why and what's been happening behind the scenes for me and also for my business as well. So sit down, get comfy, and tune in to the next maybe 20 minutes or so. We'll just see how we go. So, I feel like I just have to get a lot off my chest, and I want to share just quickly and a little reminder because I know that the energy at the moment is really intense, and you may be experiencing some of the things that I'm experiencing. So everything that I share from my heart, and I share it for the reasons of being able to be open, honest, and transparent with you. And I apologize if anything is triggering or you may be a little bit alarming. I'm just trying to soften the edges a little bit. But to be honest, I also don't want to soften them because I want to give you the most authentic and organic version of me, and that is all about honesty and being real. So I feel like I don't really know where to start, but all I am going to start with is by saying every couple of years I feel like I go through a huge death and rebirth process, almost like a mini awakening. And the last one, it was in 2022. That was quite a big one for me. It rocked me to my core and affected a lot of my relationships around me. Some fell away, some grew. And so I have found myself back in one of those situations over the last few months. And it's been building and building and building. And I've been doing a lot of work. I've been doing a lot of work on understanding my shadow self and bringing up things from the past to be able to let them go. But at the same time, things that we hold on to from the past, or even things that we don't share or say or honor, still kind of gets rejected and pushed down the ladder in terms of priority and being able to be fully expressed. So I've been doing a lot of work on myself, and it's kind of made me withdraw a little bit from my business. I really just needed some time to recalibrate, and I took some time off. I took a couple of weeks off in April. I spent a beautiful week in Adelaide with my mum and my brother. And when I got back to Melbourne, I spent the weekend visiting some friends and going out. And I hadn't drank alcohol. I had been kind of trying not to drink alcohol because I have a past with it. And I feel like I am better without it, potentially. We'll come back to that. So anyway, the story is that I got too drunk and I found myself in a state of consciousness where I don't remember. And I've been in this state before many years ago when I get too drunk and I black out and I turn into a different person. It's almost like my alter ego. And so this version of me came out in public around my friends. And although I don't remember everything, I feel like it was a chaotic experience that had a lot of ripple effects and consequences and those consequences have made me stop and take a really good look at myself. And it's brought up a lot more stuff. It's brought up a lot more around my shadows, but also it's teaching me that if we suppress things or we ignore or avoid things, even if it's how we're feeling, our truth, and being able to honor what our truth is or what our needs are or where we are right now and what we need to be able to become more of who we are and embrace the truth of who we are, because our shadows are there to teach us that we are both light and dark. And this is really interesting because I know right now that the energies where the sun is meeting Uranus is all about embracing your truth, regardless of whether it feels like light or dark. It's just truth. And so your truth has to come out, it has to be expressed, it has to be seen and embraced and witnessed and embodied within yourself, which is why I am sharing this with you, because my truth is really coming up and staring me in the face at the moment. And some of it's not pretty, it's not pleasant, but it just is. And at the end of the day, it is about accepting ourselves and addressing the parts of ourselves that maybe we have been avoiding, or we've kind of been, we know it's there and we kind of push it down so we don't have to feel it or see it, but it still keeps coming up, it still keeps becoming present and louder until we actually face it. So my experience over the last few weeks has been new, has been different. So I am not drinking. I have also given up vaping, and this is not something I've ever spoken about before because I felt, I think, a little bit of judgment or shame. Maybe there's a little bit of probably a story, underlying current. And interestingly, I was speaking to my counselor the other day, and we spoke about the identity that addiction takes on. So whether it is alcohol or smoking or some other form of vice that we turn to that makes us feel better or makes us forget about an experience or our reality, whatever that addiction is, we attach a certain identity to it. And so for me, my identity attachment to alcohol and vaping has always been around being this version. I call her Party Carla, and I've spoken about her before, but she is just really wild, and I understand wild is good, but she is quite reckless and ruthless. And Party Carla is perhaps someone that I have been ashamed of in the past because she was rebellious and she didn't listen and she probably hurt a lot of people. But Party Carla was someone that was hurt herself. And so this identity was created to cover up all of the pain. But the thing is with covering up the pain is that it's just a cover. The pain is still there. So, yeah. So, where I'm currently at the moment with Party Carla is I'm not disconnecting from her, although I don't necessarily want to become her. I am letting parts of her go and I'm working on the pain. Yeah. So in my counseling session, it was about me letting go of that part of myself. And I've been that part of myself for a long time. And now, all of a sudden, I am no longer, I'm no longer drinking or smoking. And it feels like that part of me is dying. So that's the death part. That's what's falling away. And in the flip side to that is that I am feeling a lot better in my health, in my body, and in my mind. But I am also a little bit fragile. So I thank you for listening and being patient with me. And so while I've been exploring my own personal pain, my pain story around this identity attachment of Party Carla, I have been diving into the shadow self, the shadow aspects of myself, which I believe that Party Carla possesses. She embodies, she is 100% shadow. And so I find myself in the past, I've always kind of battled with the two and rejected the shadow, pushed the shadow down because I was ashamed of it. I didn't really want to acknowledge it, or I perhaps just wasn't ready to go there and to understand that side of myself. And so now I'm really diving into the shadow, and this I really am enjoying it, to be honest with you. Not necessarily all of it, because it's not supposed to be enjoyable, but I'm really intrigued by the concept of shadow, and I'm really open because I think previously I had this misconception about shadow self, shadow work, whatever we want to call it. But your shadow self is really just the parts of you that you have rejected or shunned or shut off or told that it's not acceptable, or being led to believe that it's scary or it's evil or negative or anything like that. It doesn't necessarily mean that it's evil or dark or anything like that, because it just is, and we are the ones that has the perception of what our shadow self is. So it's up to you to decide and to put that value on these certain traits or instincts or behaviors that you have potentially learnt or adopted or created. And usually it is for the purposes of keeping yourself safe or being able to protect yourself, whether it is about not letting people in so they don't hurt you or they don't see your shame or your guilt or your fear or whatever it is that your shadow is holding on to, or whether it's protecting yourself physically from a dangerous situation. So, yeah, I'm really enjoying getting to know my shadow self more on a really deep level. And this is the key to shadow work, is it is simply a process of you understanding and providing and giving compassion to your shadow self, not abandoning that part of yourself, and instead bringing light to the shadow so that you can understand it and understand what your shadow needs in order for it to no longer be a shadow. Because at the end of the day, it is just things that we've said no to, or we've rejected, or we've pushed away. So if we start saying yes to our shadow, then our shadow starts to become transmuted into our light. So that is my little update. I have a lot going on in my business. I've got retreats happening. I've got Raw, Wild and Free, which is now over half full for the end of October. And for those who are wanting to journey with me into their self-love journey, which is something I've also been exploring, I am opening up the waiting list for the next self-love sanctuary, which will be perhaps later this year. Stay tuned or visit my website to sign up for the waiting list for that one. And what else is happening? I think just a general overhaul. I'm really focusing on delivering more honesty, more truth, and being able to show up organically, and just being really, really raw and real with you. So I am going to be diving into some topics that may be a little bit different from what I've been doing in the past. And this is a part of me sharing my truth and my medicine with you, because my medicine is in embracing your vulnerable side and being able to really honor your emotional sensitivities and be able to turn them into your greatest source of power. So I hope that this episode is received with love and compassion, and I want to remind you that at the end of the day, you are love in here, and you just need to be able to know that you can come back to this love at any time. Anytime you need it, come back to yourself, come back to your home. Okay, my loves, I hope you have a wonderful week, and I will do my best to show up and deliver another podcast episode in the next fortnight or so. Until then, I hope you take care of yourself, really making sure that you make time to connect with yourself and ground yourself. Grounding is really, really important right now as you go through these energetic changes and upgrades. And just start to become aware, because most of us right now are experiencing some form of energetic or physical upgrade, because when it's energetic, we feel it. So, really just honoring that process for yourself if this is where you are, or just becoming aware that it may be something that becomes present for you, and just allow it. Don't try to run away from it, just simply embrace it, allow it. And if you need any support, any guidance, please feel free to reach out and connect with me. You can book in a free clarity coaching call with me if you need some clarity around what's happening, what's coming up for you. And until the next episode, take care, look after yourself, and I will talk to you soon. Bye bye.